the expert. Goblins and ghouls make up the majority of Halloween horror stories.
But there is something even more frightening for many Americans. Budgets and bank accounts. Money fears can haunt folks year-round.
Financial professional Nick Foulks with WealthWisconsin.com here with some of the top financial fears and what we can do to overcome them. This is serious. A lot of people, this keeps them up at night.
Oh, definitely. It's very serious. In fact, over half of baby boomers, about 60%, say that they're more afraid of running out of money than they are of dying. But really, the first part of overcoming your fears is just identifying what are the fears that you do have. So,
what are the things that people are afraid of? Let's run through the top handful of them.
The top handful of them. The first thing that people are afraid of is losing their income. Which is reasonable. That's a reasonable fear for people to have.
Especially in this day and age.
In this day and age, jobs can change quickly. So we always say make sure that you put aside about 3 to 6 months in what we call an emergency fund. It's just a bucket of money that you do not touch. And I know that can seem overwhelming at first, 3 to 6 months of my living expenses set aside. Mm-hmm. But if you set up some type of systematic withdrawal for $50 or $100 a month, you just put it over time, you're going to see that grow and grow and grow for you.
Asking for a raise. I think everybody's, has hesitation when you have to go in and do this.
Definitely. Asking for a raise is difficult regardless of what position you're in. It's funny because only 40% of Americans will actually ask their boss for a raise this year. But interesting enough, 84% of bosses are presuming that their employees will actually ask for a raise. So we should get out there and go do that. But before you run off and kick down the door of your boss asking for a raise, make sure you do your homework. Figure out what's a reasonable compensation for your job in that area. How much more do you want to actually receive? And then finally, make a list of why you're qualified for an increase in compensation.
Simply talking about money can scare some people. Why is that?
Well, a lot of people who are in retirement or going into retirement, they find it a little uncomfortable or almost taboo to talk with their adult children about their finances. But we try to let people know that is important. Even if you don't tell your kids exactly what's inside of your accounts that you have, let them know who's your financial advisor. Let them know what accounts you have. Because if there's an emergency or you lose the ability to be able to handle your finances, you want them to have those kinds of details so that they can manage it well. If you want to start that conversation, we have a great resource on our website, wealthwisconsin.com.
What is credit card phobia?
Credit card phobia, that's the fear of adding debt to yourself. Credit cards are a great tool for building your credit score, building a credit history. But people with student loans this day and age, for the millennials, they get nervous about adding credit card debt to themselves as well. But if you can do it responsibly, you can find yourself in an empowered position when you want to get a car loan, a mortgage loan, or even jobs are affected by your credit score.
Last 10 seconds here. What happens when you run out of money?
When you run out of money, you find yourself in a hard place. So we always say begin with the end in mind. Start saving as early as you can. Maximize your retirement plans early on. Even if you can live without 10% of what you're making, put it in there.
Great advice. Got a question for any of our experts? Send an email to asktheexpert@tmj4.com. You can also call that number right there on your screen.